Think about this for a second. What if the goal of education wasn't just about your own personal achievement, but about empowering people to actually transform their own communities? Well, today we're going to dive into the unique philosophy behind a global program that's trying to do exactly that, the Ruhi Institute.
So, the whole idea behind the Ruhi Institute really starts with this powerful diagnosis of where our world is at today. Its framework is rooted in the Bahá'í teachings, which emphasize the oneness of humanity. And from that perspective, all the chaos and confusion we see, it's not the end of the story. It's more like a painful but totally natural stage of growing up for the human race.
So this turbulent adolescence, what does that actually look like? Well, it's defined by two really powerful competing forces that are shaping our societies on every single level, from our local neighborhoods all the way up to the global stage.
On one side, you've got this process of disintegration. This is the destructive stuff we see on the news every day. Conflict, chaos, all kinds of insecurity. But, and this is the really hopeful part, at the exact same time, there are these powerful forces of integration at work, pushing people towards new values and new ways of organizing society that could be the foundation for a much more unified world.
Okay, so you've got this world being pulled in two different directions, right? This push and pull between chaos and order. It's in response to this exact situation that the Ruhi Institute was created, and with a very specific and pretty ambitious goal in mind. So the Institute's goal isn't just, academic learning. They see themselves as a channel for these positive, constructive, spiritual forces of our time. And the whole point is to empower regular people, like you and me, to become active builders of a brand new kind of world. To even try and achieve a goal that big, you're going to need a pretty unique way of creating your educational materials. And their approach is really different from what you might expect from a typical top-down model. So get this, the curriculum isn't dreamed up by a bunch of experts in some office somewhere. Nope, it actually grows out of real-world grassroots experience. It's all based on this cycle of action, reflection, and consultation that happens right at the community level. The materials themselves are a direct result of the learning that happens when people are out there trying to apply spiritual principles in their service to others. It's this really cool organic process that happens in three main stages. It all starts with a super simple outline that's used at the grassroots. Then, as groups use it, learn from it, and gain experience, it gets refined into what they call an alpha version. And finally, a pre-publication edition is used even more widely, getting tweaked and polished until the changes are tiny and it's finally ready to go. This whole process makes sure the courses are actually practical and effective in the real world. All right, so now we know how the materials are made. Let's get into the what. What's it actually like to start this journey? Well, for every single participant, it all begins with Book 1. And here's a really key part of the whole thing. You don't do this alone. These courses aren't meant for you to just sit and learn by yourself. Instead, people get together in these small groups called study circles to talk through the materials and learn together. This journey that you take together starts with Reflections on the Life of the Spirit. It's designed to be a universal starting point, creating a shared foundation for people no matter what their background is. The book is broken down into 3 units that explore these really fundamental themes. The goal is to build a strong spiritual foundation and maybe develop some habits like daily reading and prayer that are going to help sustain you on a path of service. Now, the way they teach is so simple, but it's also pretty profound. So, in a study circle, the group will first read a short passage from the Bahá'í writings, something just like the one you see here. And then, right after reading, the group gets asked a super simple question with an answer that's found directly in the text. Now, this might seem almost too basic, right? But it serves a very, very specific purpose. You see, what this does is it makes sure everyone in the group, regardless of their background, starts on the same page with a shared understanding of the text's most obvious meaning. It strengthens this unity of thought and gives everyone a solid foundation before the group dives into a deeper conversation about what the passage really implies for their lives. But here's the thing. Finishing Book 1 is not the end of the road. Not at all. It's really just the first step on a much longer path of service. So Book 1 is just the first in a whole sequence of courses, and each one builds on the last. As you can probably tell from the titles, the focus starts to expand outward. It's all about developing the skills and abilities to serve the community in different ways, whether that's teaching children or mentoring youth. And the engine driving this whole path of service is an idea the materials call a twofold moral purpose. It's this beautiful concept that attending to your own spiritual and intellectual growth and contributing to the transformation of society, well, they're not two separate activities. They are completely interconnected parts of a meaningful life. One fuels the other.
So, the entire approach of the Ruhi Institute really leaves us with a compelling question about the very purpose of education. What if the primary goal of learning wasn't just about individual advancement, but about developing our capacity to contribute to the well-being of all humanity? Just think about what could be possible.